Ever feel like you just stepped onto a movie set, but something's kind of off? Like the whole thing's just a little too weird to be real?
Hmm.
I know that feeling.
Well, that's the vibe I'm getting from our deep dive today, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Turkmenistan. This place is like off the charts, fascinating and strange and kind of unsettling all at the same time. Buckle up, because we're dealing with more than just your average quirky dictators this time.
Yeah, what gets me about Turkmenistan is, well, the audacity of it all, really. I mean, here's a country, boasts the world's fourth largest natural gas reserves, right? Yet it's like this place is frozen in time, ruled by these larger-than-life figures who dictate everything. And I mean everything. Fashion, what people read. It's such a trip, right? Like stepping into a time warp or something. You've got these remnants of ancient Silk Road history. But fast forward to today, and it's like this modern-day isolation, this veil of secrecy surrounding the whole place. And, oh yeah, did I mention the flaming crater?
Yes. The Darvaza gas crater.
The what?
The Darvaza gas crater, yeah. Some call it the door to hell.
Okay, that's a little dramatic, don't you think?
Well, it's apt. It's this potent symbol of, like, I don't know, the country's weird relationship with its own natural resources. I mean, this thing's been burning for over 50 years straight.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we descend into that inferno, let's backtrack a bit. Give us the lay of the land here. Turkmenistan, how did it get this way?
All right, so picture this. A vast, sun-scorched desert. I mean, we're talking endless stretches of sand. That's the Karakum Desert, covers most of the country. And against this backdrop, you have this nation, right, steeped in these nomadic traditions, wrestling with the legacies of Soviet control, and ruled by a string of leaders who've, how should I put it, perfected the art of the personality cult.
And when we say perfected, we mean we're not talking like your average, run-of-the-mill, my picture's on a postage stamp kind of personality cult. This is next-level stuff.
Oh, yeah. Think North Korea, but then add like a bizarre, almost surreal twist.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Paint me a picture.
All right. Take Saparmyrat Nyýazow, Turkmenistan's first president after the fall of the Soviet Union. This is a man who literally wrote the book, quite literally, on how to run a nation based on his own, shall we say, unique vision.
We've got to talk about this book, the Ruhnama. This wasn't just some vanity project, was it?
Oh, no. The Ruhnama, which, by the way, translates to the Book of the Soul. Catchy title, right? Anyway, It became like the bedrock of Turkmenistan society. It really did. It was required reading, schools, workplaces, even driving tests.
You're kidding.
Nope.
Seriously.
This book, outlining Nyýazow's philosophies, interpretations of history, morality, even science, became like, I don't know, the lens through which citizens were expected to view the entire world.
Hold on, so you needed to pass a test on the president's book to get your driver's license? I mean, really, what was the goal here? Total mind control?
Well, control is definitely a key part of it. By shaping everything, the education system, the media, even what people did for fun around his own ideology, Nyýazow, he aimed to, well, to mold citizens into these reflections of his vision. You know, obedient and, perhaps most importantly, unquestioning.
Wow.
And get this, it wasn't just the Ruhnama either.
Oh, there's more?
Oh, yeah. He renamed, months after himself and his family members, put up countless gold statues in his image everywhere, and even went so far as to ban things like opera and gold teeth.
Wait, seriously? He banned opera?
Gone. Because, it didn't align with his taste.
This is where my brain starts to short circuit.
Yeah, okay.
I get wanting to, leave your mark on the world. But renaming months after yourself, that is a level of ego I can't even comprehend.
It's classic, though, really, for these personality cults. Create this, this aura of infallibility, omnipresence. Inserting self into every facet of daily life. The calendar on the wall, what kids learn in school.
Yeah.
Nyýazow, he wasn't just leading Turkmenistan, he was becoming Turkmenistan in the eyes of his citizens.
Okay. So we've got a country that's primed for this kind of top-down control. And then Nyýazow died in 2006. Things had to loosen up a bit then, right?
You'd think, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But that's where this story takes another turn into the Twilight Zone.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Enter Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov, a man seemingly determined to, well, outdo even his eccentric predecessor.
So a new leader, same playbook, huh? Berdimuhamedov kept the Ruhnama thing going.
He did. At first, yeah. He eventually swapped it out for his own book.
Of course he did.
Yeah, it was called, get this, Turkmenistan, the Heart of the Great Silk Road.
Oh, man. Subtle.
Yeah, and it's not just the books. Berdimuhamedov, he kept that whole cult of personality thing going strong, but he put his own, let's say, flair on it.
Oh, boy. How so?
Okay, so picture this, right? A national holiday, But it's not for, like, independence or anything like that. It's for the Turkmen Alabay dog breed.
He's kidding.
Oh, I'm dead serious. And to really make it official, Berdimuhamedov unveils this giant gold-plated statue.
Wait, a giant gold dog statue?
Oh, yeah, of an Alabay, naturally.
Okay, now that's just showing off. It's like he studied propaganda under, like, the Kims of North Korea, but with a little P.T. Barnum razzle-dazzle thrown in.
Right.
But for real, it can't be all fun and games, right? This level of control, this obsession with image, it's got to have real consequences for people.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. See, behind that glittery facade of Ashgabat, the capital city, all those marble palaces and golden statues, there's a much harsher reality for a lot of people just trying to live their lives. Independent reporting, forget it. Internet access, severely restricted. Even basic information about, like, how people are doing, the economy, it's all tightly controlled.
So what can we find out about what life is actually like behind that carefully crafted facade?
Well, international organizations like Human Rights Watch, they've documented some pretty awful stuff. Widespread human rights abuses, forced labor, and zero political freedom. And, there are whispers of, like, real poverty existing right alongside all that ostentatious wealth, people disappearing into this system that operates with basically total impunity.
It's chilling. And then on top of all that, they banned the word coronavirus. Seriously, that is some next-level Orwellian control.
No, I'm with you. It's wild. During the pandemic, Turkmenistan basically became this information black hole. They just denied COVID-19 was even a thing within their borders, even as countries all around them were dealing with these huge outbreaks.
It really makes you think, about the psychology of it all. Is it just straight up denial? Like a desperate attempt to maintain this illusion of control no matter what?
It's probably a mix of things, to be honest. But by suppressing any information about the virus, Berdimuhamedov, he got to keep up this image of Turkmenistan as this, like, mythical land, untouched by the problems everyone else was dealing with. But of course, that came at a huge cost for the people who were left, vulnerable and totally in the dark.
Man, that's a scary thought. It's a reminder that these bizarre antics, these over-the-top gestures, they're not just like harmless quirks. They're symptoms of this deeply messed up system, a system that has very real and often very dark consequences for the people stuck living under it.
Exactly. And it shows how important it is to look beyond the spectacle. Beyond the gold statues and the propaganda and everything. We've got to understand the human cost of this kind of authoritarian rule.
For sure. So we've got this backdrop of absolute control, this illusion of prosperity and stability. And then in the middle of it all, boom, a giant flaming hole in the desert. It's been burning nonstop for decades. That's got to be symbolic.
The Darvaza gas crater, yeah, it's a trip. It's this amazing natural wonder that draws people in from all over, yet it exists under the same cloud of secrecy and misinformation that hangs over so much of Turkmenistan.
All right, so tell me more about this door to hell. How does a country that's obsessed with control end up with a giant flaming pit in the middle of its desert?
Well, the crater's origins are about as bizarre as the country itself.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so rewind to 1971, Soviet era. These geologists are drilling for natural gas in the Karakum Desert. And, they hit a cavern.
Uh-oh. That sounds like a bad uh-oh.
Yeah, it was not good. This huge crater opens up when the ground collapses. Massive.
Hold on, so they just decided to light it on fire?
Sounds crazy, right?
Yeah.
Well, believe it or not, that's exactly what they did. They were worried about, poisonous methane gas leaking out.
Makes sense.
So they figured, hey, let's set the crater on fire. They thought it'd burn off in a few weeks, tops. Yeah. Oops is right. Little did they know, they'd just created a spectacle that would burn for over 50 years. And counting.
It's wild, right? Like, I can't picture another country on Earth where a giant burning crater wouldn't be the main attraction. But in Turkmenistan, it's just like, oh, yeah, that thing. It's been on fire for, half a century now? Anyway.
Exactly. It's just another Tuesday there. It's incredible how many layers of weirdness we've uncovered about this place.
Yeah.
We've got this isolated nation, right? Happy as a clam in its little bubble. But at the same time, they're sitting on top of a resource that the whole world wants natural gas.
Talk about a tough hand to play.
No kidding.
Because you can't stay totally isolated and sell that gas, right?
Exactly. It's this balancing act. I mean, Turkmenistan's been walking this tightrope for decades now. They want autonomy, but they've got to engage with these big, powerful neighbors, China, Russia.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
That whole TAPI pipeline thing.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a geopolitical puzzle.
It's a beast, that's for sure.
So remind me again, what's at stake with that project?
Okay, so imagine this, a pipeline.
All right.
But it's not just any pipeline. This one stretches over 1,800 kilometers.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it's carrying natural gas from the middle of Turkmenistan all the way to India.
No way.
And get this, it has to pass through some of the most unstable places on the planet.
Yikes.
Afghanistan, for starters.
Yikes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And Pakistan.
Okay, this thing sounds less like a pipeline and more like a recipe for a geopolitical nightmare.
It's definitely ambitious, that's for sure.
So what's the upside for Turkmenistan? If they can pull this off, what do they get?
Options, mainly. That's the big thing. See, right now, they're super reliant on China to buy their gas.
Right.
This TPI pipeline, if they can get it built, it changes everything. Less dependence on China, more leverage on the world stage.
I can see how that would be appealing.
Oh, yeah. Plus, think about the money. All that revenue.
Yeah.
And potentially, it positions them as like the major energy player in South Asia.
Yeah.
But there are some big buts here.
Yeah, no kidding.
The risks are huge. I mean, security threats alone are off the charts. Plus, political instability and just the sheer scale of it all. Building this thing, maintaining it. It's a gamble for sure,
Yeah.
a big one.
It's really a perfect example of the challenge facing this country. Incredible potential, totally hemmed in by these massive obstacles. And on top of all that, let's not forget who's running the show.
Right.
We're still dealing with a government that's into some, let's say, unconventional methods.
Sure.
So any talk about what happens to Turkmenistan next has to take that into account.
100%. I mean, will their leaders, will they loosen up? Even a little. Open things up, to get foreign investment and navigate this crazy geopolitical landscape? Or are they going to just keep doubling down on isolation and control? And maybe, jeopardize everything they've been working for?
The big question is, what do they want their future to look like? Do they even want to be a major player on the world stage? Or are they cool with this bizarre little world they've built for themselves?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Even the people who study Turkmenistan for a living, even they don't really know. But I'll tell you one thing. This country, it's a wild mix of natural wealth, global importance, and leaders who are totally unpredictable.
Yeah.
Turkmenistan is going to keep defying expectations. And I kind of love that about it. It's like this collision of past and present where the future is just as mysterious as that giant burning crater in its backyard.
It's true. A modern-day enigma, wrapped in a riddle, slathered in like a truly impressive amount of marble, and ruled by a guy who really, really loves horses.
Don't forget the dog statues.
Oh, right. And the dogs. If you want a masterclass in geopolitics with a hefty side of you can't make this stuff up, Turkmenistan is the perfect case study. We've only scratched the surface here, but hopefully, this will inspire you to do a little digging of your own. There's a whole lot more to uncover about this weird and wonderful corner of the world.